last year, I became a full-time research scientist or data scientist in industry. I've had a lot of people ask me questions about how I transitioned from being a lab scientist, a PhD in chemistry, to a data science in industry, and specifically in an industry that has nothing to do with chemistry. And so today I want to kind of walk you through my process. It was a longer process. I did go through 2 rounds of interviewing for a job till I was able to actually find a data scientist job that I love. And so I want to walk you through that, what languages I learned, and all of that. So we're going to dive into all of that today. So, the very first thing that I did is when I was in grad school, I kind of started playing with Python to try and develop an app to allow us to analyze specific types of data faster. But I really didn't dive into a lot of data analysis with programming. So, my very first step was to actually learn programming. And I actually took Google Data Analytics certificate course. I think I did it in about a week, but honestly, if you are interested in this world, you don't really need something like any of the certificate courses. None of the jobs I applied for cared that I had a certificate. I'd even usually put it on my resume because really none of them care. So don't think that if you want to go into data scientist and you're a PhD in something not related to data science, that you need a certificate or anything like that. You really don't, but you do need to learn the programs and the coding languages that are going to be important in this career. So what I learned was in that course I learned R. I had already done some R in my postdoc, so I knew some of R, but I kind of got a refresher in R and learned that. And if you are interested in learning some R, I have tutorials on this channel, but all my future tutorials will go on my channel, the Simple Code Guide, which I'll have a link to that below if you want to go over there and subscribe so that you can get more of my R tutorials over there. So, especially if you want to stick in anything related to science, education, things like that, I think learning R is a really good first step in the process of going towards data science. The other language I would really encourage you to learn is Python. A lot of your more business specific places are going to want Python instead of R, and your larger data science consulting places are going to want Python more likely instead of R. Python gives you a broader range of things that you can do with it. Obviously, you can use Python to develop web applications and all these other things. There are also many different packages to help you do data science and specifically machine learning with Python instead. So as a first step, I would make sure that you know R and Python. Then the next one that you really are going to need to know is SQL, so structured query language. And SQL allows you to pull down data from a database. And this is really important. I actually use this a lot in my current job to be able to get the data that we need from things like BigQuery or Azure so that we can do the analyses that we want to be able to do. So SQL is a pretty simple language to get started with and to learn the basics of. And I would check out Alex the Analyst tutorials on there. He has several different tutorials on SQL that are entirely free for you to learn SQL, and then you can practice it in something like BigQuery Sandbox or even Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So those are the 3 major coding languages that I would learn. The other things that might be worth learning is either Tableau or Power BI. These are both reporting softwares. You can create dashboards and report with these softwares. These are also ways that my team actually uses Power BI to get certain data that data flows have already been created for. So knowing how to operate around either of them, really the basics of them are the same. I would say more people probably use Power BI, but Tableau does have a free version that you can practice with. Upload in data and start learning how to create dashboards for people to be able to use to understand your data through data visualization. Then the final thing that I do suggest you learn is you need to have a pretty strong grasp of Excel. You might do a lot of really simple data cleaning in Excel, or when you pull something down from a place, it might have rows in it that needs to be deleted or other things. I think knowing the basics of Excel is going to be important. You should know how to do conditional formatting, know various different formulas that you can use, all of those things. And honestly, you can find that information in so many different places just through YouTube to be able to easily search and find. So overall, that was what I made sure that I knew on the tech side of things. So R, Python, SQL, Power BI or Tableau, and then Excel are kind of your bigger things that you're going to want to know if you're going to go for data analyst or data scientist jobs. Then the second step that I underwent is that I actually created a portfolio. So I don't think my site is still live, but I had an entire website portfolio page where I did 3 different types of analyses that I used different tools to be able to do. So I incorporated SQL, I incorporated R, I incorporated Python, and I did basically one tool specific to each. Whenever you want to go create your portfolio, what I would recommend is that you really think about what positions you really want to be applying for and think about the types of analyses that they're going to be doing and then show them that you can do those types of analyses. So when I got started, I really didn't know what specific data scientist positions I wanted to apply for. So I had one that was focused on marketing, one that was focused on kind of just general insight gathering, and another one that was focused more in the data engineering, combining a lot of different data sources together and being able to get insights from that. So, but if I had been a lot more focused and this was the specific data I wanted to do and then created portfolios on different types of analyses that would have done, I think that would have given me a stronger overall portfolio to be able to present. So once I had my portfolio, I then went on to change my resume. So obviously, if you've gone from applying for lab scientist jobs or academic jobs, and then you're switching to apply for data scientist jobs, those are very, very different. And so if you take the same resume you had and use it, people might be very, very confused about why you're applying for these jobs, or even if you're a good fit for these jobs. So obviously the skills that I showed on like my scientist jobs was that I could do mass spectrometry, I could do liquid chromatography, I could do ion mobility, all of these things. But I didn't include any of that on my data scientist. I included the fact that I could write in R and the specific packages I knew in R, Python, the specific packages I knew in Python, SQL and the types of SQL I knew, the different programs that I had knew, the different types of things that I could do with data. That was my skills section in my resume. In my work history of my resume, I redetailed my graduate research assistantship. So if you are a PhD or a master's student and you are doing any form of research, that should go both in your work section and your education section. So I have as one of my work sections, my research assistantship that details what I did as a graduate student that really was work. It was research. And so what I did there is I specifically gave them the type of insights that I developed from there. I didn't say I completed 7 published papers. I instead focused on I was able to gain this insight from this type of data. One of the things that I focused on was adding in measurements into my data, and I talked about how I made things more efficient through my data analysis, even if it wasn't directly a part of my job or directly a part of my papers. How I coded things that allowed us to analyze things more quickly because I knew that's what my future job would want me to do. So then, with these new skills, my portfolio and my new resume, I then went on to start looking for positions. And the main thing I did is I started looking for positions through LinkedIn. And after about 2 months of looking for positions, I actually was offered a job, not as a data scientist, but as an interpretation chemist. And so it was a contract position that I decided to take because I wasn't getting a lot of headway. I had a few interviews for data science or data analyst positions, but I wasn't making the headway that I wanted to see. So I took this to have 6 months of pay during that time while I continued to learn more Python and continue to better my skills that way. Then finally, about 3 months into that contract, I started reapplying for new positions. And it was through this round of interviews that I actually ended up getting my job. Now, I mainly found my jobs through LinkedIn. And interestingly enough, the job I'm currently in, I actually didn't originally apply for. So I applied for a separate job within the company that I'm in. And then I was not accepted for that job. But I stayed in contact with the hiring manager. She asked if she could have my LinkedIn and everything. And about a month later, I got messaged on LinkedIn by my current supervisor asking me if I was still interested in data science position and that she had a open position on her team and I was recommended by the previous hiring manager that actually didn't hire me. And so ultimately I went through the interviews and I ended up in the current position that I'm in, which is a senior research scientist position. So it's essentially we come up with research projects just like you would do in academia or grad school. We gather the data, we analyze them, and then we present our findings. So my position now is very, very similar to a lot of just the research that you would do in grad school with a lot of data science built in, a lot of statistical analysis going on, and then a little bit less of the publishing part of it. But ultimately, we present our findings more in a business manner than an academic manner. So I hope that was really helpful if you are sitting here as a master's or a PhD and you want to get into data science and you don't know how. Those are the different steps I take. If you want more information about all of this, leave a comment below of your questions. And I may film additional videos in the future detailing more specific the processes that I went through, or even showing you the resume that I used to get my current job. If you want to see some more videos on art tutorials, I'll leave this up here and I will leave my programming channel down here if you want to see those tutorials there. And please like this video if it was helpful and subscribe to this channel for more ways to become efficient in your research. And I hope to see you in the next video.